On today's program, I will be discussing language, words, and their importance in proper communication. So, in my day-to-day conversations with people, I tend to find that I face situations where it seems my message or the person's message is not being conveyed properly, that there's a miscommunication. And I try to analyze the situation. I try to figure out where does miscommunication arise within a conversation, and consequently, how does the misunderstanding or the miscommunication lead to the improper idea or the wrong idea being portrayed or conveyed? Or even if we take it further, that people may become offended from the perceived message. Now, if we take it back to the base, the base structure of communicating, it's all based on words and their meanings. And if we do a quick analysis of this, we can see where in our modern language, especially in English language, we use words a lot to mean different things. So we use particular words that in the past, perhaps not the too distant past, would have meant one specific thing, and now that same word has a variety of meanings. And if we simply analyze this alone, we can see where a person we are talking to would hear words, but because they might be using a different meaning for that word, come to a different meaning for the conversation on the whole. Now, in that way, conversations can go, well, very badly, very quickly, because two different meanings of the same conversation is being understood. Now, if we take it beyond that, and we look now at the way we speak, or our, let's say, our style of speaking. Different people's style of speaking tend to emphasize different parts of a conversation and different parts of sentences, and so they might mean something different when we stress on different words in a conversation. So in that way, we might confuse somebody for being that they are being sarcastic, or that they are angry, or that they are agitated in some way, or somebody might be uninterested in a conversation simply based on the style at which they speak, or the style in which they speak. So for example, let's say somebody is in a rush. So in the basic science of a conversation, if somebody is speaking quickly, people tend to speak quickly when they are angry. They tend to speak in a higher pitch of voice. They tend to have shorter gaps between words. And you will find, now if I want to stress a certain point, I will stress the word I want you to understand. But if a person's volume and tone of voice, their pitch is raised, and they are speaking quickly, it sounds like they are stressing the entire conversation or the entire point. And this is a sign of anger. But if a person naturally speaks like that, let's say they are a person who are usually high-strung, let's say, they will speak like that, and then we will misinterpret what they say as being said in anger. And especially if it's a stranger. someone who we are not accustomed speaking with, we will interpret their speech as being angry speech. I remember in a previous job I had, I was working with some Guyanese nationals, and they spoke really quick. They spoke in a really high-pitched voice. Well, high-pitched, relatively high-pitched compared to me. And I thought they were arguing. And I asked them about it. I said, so what are you arguing about? And they said they were not arguing. They were having a normal conversation. So in that way, I had misinterpreted their normal speaking pattern as being an argument. And in the same way, or the flip side to that, we have where if somebody is accustomed speaking in a, let's say, a lazy style, they very soft, they make very little eye contact, then we might assume that they are uninterested. But it can be a variety of things. But simply because they don't put enough stress in their voice, or they don't stress enough points, we get the feeling that this person is uninterested, and therefore that message is communicated. So there are a lot of ways in which our communication style and the way we are accustomed to communicating affects the message being properly conveyed, and also the message being properly understood. As I said in the example, that words have a lot of different meanings. So now that I have stated the case, well, what is a possible solution for this scenario? How do we properly communicate an issue? And one may think, well, we learn more words, we learn proper English, we start to memorize the whole dictionary. And I think a base way of solving simple miscommunications is by speaking in a simpler language, or simpler, using simpler words, being more direct in what the point is we are trying to make, and using words that we know can be clearly understood, but also taking the time to analyze the response a person gives when we communicate a point. So let's say I'm communicating a point and I want to convey a little bit of a suggestion. Then instead of trying to make it sound intricate and intelligent and any of those things, approaching the communication straightforward and using straightforward words will communicate the point more clearly. So in this way, the goal is to communicate a point, to communicate whether we are satisfied or dissatisfied, without the message being lost in between. So this is what I was thinking about in terms of why it is sometimes I seem to be not be able to communicate clearly with people I'm around. Is I wonder if it's the words I'm using. I wonder if it's my sentences are being too complex so that the person cannot follow the message properly. Or I wonder if I'm stressing on the wrong point, so people tend to misunderstand what I mean simply by me stressing on the wrong words, which changes the meaning of the sentence. And I think this is key into, avoiding issues with people we communicate with, and also communicating properly any issue we may have. So I hope my little thought process shed some light on the idea of communication and the issue of miscommunication, and probably the points I put forward are in terms of solving issues of miscommunication will help you in your communication process. So my name is Omkar. This has been Diksha. And I thank you for joining me. I will see you next time.